Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to head back to the Wandering Sea. Welcome back to the Meeple Marathon. Today we are taking a look at Distant Skies. This is the standalone sequel to Sleeping Gods, which still hangs around in my top games of all time. And if this holds up to any of the hype that it is claiming, this one might take over that spot. So what Ryan Lockett has done is taken an amazing game and tweaked all the little things that were a little frustrating in Sleeping Gods, and just put you in a plane instead of on an old steamer. And yeah, so let's take a look at what we got here. Actually, before we do that, let's take a look at some realistic resources here. Kind of waffled on these. These were a last minute decision, but I thought it'd be fun. It's just like some food, some veggies, and some steak. The steak looks okay. And these are artifacts. Okay, it works. Here's your lumber or your materials, your wood. Very basic. Okay, fine. And then your wheat and grain. This is probably the best one. I may even throw a little wash on these, just to give them some definition. The rest of these, I mean, you're not doing anything with this. But these are all painted. These are not. But anyways, I was hoping that there would be more resources, more like physical stakes, but I guess there is a limit to the resources in the game, and so this is that limit. I know there's not a ton of tokens, but I was hoping I'd be able to use these in other games, but probably not. Alright. Here we go. Beautifully illustrated on the inside as well. Box is really nice and thick. Feels thicker than a lot of other boxes. And we've got a tuck box that is just sitting flat for right now. I actually don't put my completed quests in mine, but that's fine. Let's see what we got here. I think this is the... Is this just the Atlas, or is this Thundering Skies? No, I believe this is it. Alright, so this is an Atlas style game if you're not familiar with it, which means you're basically just going to flip open your book here and fly your ship to various locations, spending time or resources or something to move through these grids here on this one, and then everywhere where there is a number, it's a point of interest that you can then check in the storybook. So, some really fascinating stuff. All of Sleeping Gods took place basically on the water, and you were making landfall on small little islands that peppered the thing. This one is obviously all, for the most part, over top of land. Alright, and then we have Distant Skies Thunder Isle. So this was this is the expansion, similar to Sleeping Gods Dungeons, that came with, actually, I guess, no, it was Tides of Ruin. So this is similar to Tides of Ruin. It adds additional maps to go to. Ooh, interesting. I don't want to spoil too much. Okay, let's just put that away. Then we have this cool comic book. This is like your quick start guide here. Let me see here. All right, well, we'll come back to that. But I really like just, 40 cents, 1937. It's all, pretty cute on the outside. It still looks like a rule book on the inside, but that's fine. Oh, okay, there we go. Now we're getting into comic territory. Okay, this is getting better. Whole new combat system. We'll talk about that when we get to it. Ooh, okay. Very nice reference on the back. Here is the storybook. So I'm just going to check on the first page to see if it's, yeah, this is what I was looking for. So this is where we were in the first game. And I believe this is where we roughly are going to be now. But I could be wrong. But what this is saying to me is that he's not done even with Distant Skies. That if he has gone ahead and drawn out and named this many cities, wherever we happen to be, Sleeping Gods was a huge game. And this is all the more it took up right here. If even that. I mean, Lost Hope, Origin Pillars, Port Haven. Did I get up to Port Haven? Zockmere. Thought Pig Ribs. I definitely have been to Pig Ribs. Anyways, if this was Sleeping Gods and this is Distant Skies, we're looking at least another game, if not 2 more. Very exciting. But this is the storybook, Book of Secrets, book of all that stuff. We're certainly not going to open that one. All right, now we have a rule book here. And pretty standard. It looks a lot like the Sleeping Gods rule book. I believe there is a spot in here where it's going to say, if you are familiar with Sleeping Gods, you can, well, maybe not. I thought, oh, look at that, a double duplicated thing. Okay, I thought there was something that said, if you are familiar with Sleeping Gods, start here, but maybe not. Look at that guy. Wow. Oh, here we go. Already played Sleeping Gods. Basically, this is everything that's different, which is not much, but that's fine. There was not a whole lot wrong with Sleeping Gods. When I said that he basically went around and changed and updated everything that people were griping about, that wasn't much. So we have a nice little insert here, and we have stuff underneath. So let's look at what we got here. We've got adventure cards, N1. This looks like it goes with Thunderstorm Isle, so we're not going to open those up because those could be a surprise. Enemy buffs, and then looks like some more fate cards. Some more fate cards here. We'll open those up. Some enemy cards. I'm just going to show you this guy. So in the previous Sleeping Gods, you would have to test accuracy to see if you hit the guy, and then depending on your hit, you would basically place staying, chaining a hit and staying in a orthogonal direction to lay down, and until you covered up all the hearts, the monster was still alive, but then he'd always hit you back. They've done away with the accuracy, so you're always going to hit the guy, and instead of each individual character having like a weapon on them, you have this kind of a equipment deck. I don't know how much deck building is going to be in the game, but that seems more exciting to me than the previous one. We've got some dice. I think these come into play in combat. There was no dice in the previous game. We've got just a handful of metal coins. Like, that's not very many. Way more in Sleeping Gods, so obviously money must be a very tight resource in the game. And we have what appears to be 2 little trackers, several standees, and a bunch of plastic baggies. We also have, which is interesting, there's this little box, and you would think that what's in here would be in that little box. I'm pretty sure this is for your miniatures, but that's fine. All right, so these miniatures represent the characters, because you're actually going to be able to get out of the plane. You're able to get out of the Manticore, but you didn't actually. The only time you actually moved around on land was when you were in the dungeons and they gave you a little hourglass tracker. So these are the 5 characters here. I guess technically they'd always had one. So it was like, okay, if you're moving around on land, you're always going to get this one miniature out. And then they surprised us as part of the campaign, a stretch goal that unlocked all the rest of them. I'm pretty sure that's what this is for, but maybe not. Because that's really deep. But then we also have this. I don't know if this is a first player marker or what. But it's a nice little clock. And then we have our ship, which is painted, which is nice. The Manticore was metal. I guess this one didn't quite make the cut to become metal. And we're going to figure out how to put it together right here. Well, maybe not. This is probably going to need to be glued. To stay put. I don't feel like this is the right way. No, because that's way too big. Okay, that fit better that time. Maybe it won't need to be glued. Okay, well there you go. That's what it's going to look like from the side. But it's nice. It puts it up in the air. Makes you feel like you're flying around. Actually, the way it's tilted, it kind of looks like it's crashing, but that's okay. Will this fit? Okay. So a little protected area for your ship. These guys don't really all fit in here. So we'll have to figure something out with that. I guess they could just go in here with the ship. And maybe this is entirely not what this is for. But I've got everything in there. So we'll see. We shall see. We're going to put them in there for right now. All right. Here we have health tokens. So when you take wounds, you're going to place these on your character or on the monsters. I'm assuming these were our command tokens. Let's see here. Lists in the rule book. Just to make sure. Power tokens. Okay, so maybe not. Power tokens and then these things. So maybe they got away with the command tokens, which I would not be sad about. Alright, we have a very nice magnetically opened box here, but I'm pretty sure most of these are going to be, cards that we're not going to open. These are all the secrets in the game, the quests, adventure card, quest card, and quest card. So yes, but very nice, high quality, nice thick box. It magnetically closes. This is pretty much exactly like what's in Sleeping Gods, but I'm fine with that. All right, you have your campaign log here. Lots of sheets. On this side, you'll take notes. You'll check off certain things. You can save the game this way. And on the back side, this was one of the coolest things about Sleeping Gods, is that I would go around, and they recommend you do this, as you're traveling around, make little notes on your map. And I saved mine. And so when I was playing through my second campaign, I was like, okay, I can see roughly where I've been. And if I felt like I was stuck, I could look and say, oh, okay, maybe I'll go this way. Because the whole point of this game is not to prove that you can beat it from scratch over and over again. It's all about exploration. It's all about this open world and you just creating this story and finding all the different endings. All right. Now we've got some punch boards here. Some new resources. Looks like torch, rope, some kind of turnip, root vegetable. And then you have your kind of board here. Previously your board looked like your ship. And you would go to different areas of the ship. That ship could take damage. But that's it here. So turn start, pass active player token, draw 2 ability cards, draw 1 event card. So this is, I guess, where that time token is used, but I'm not 100% sure how that time token functions. And this is double-sided. Looks like it might be the same on each side. I don't know. There was a, one player versus, like 1 and 2 player versus 3 or 4 player side. So here we have 2 things that I am seeing. Well, one is the track along the bottom here, which looks like a health track, but maybe I could be wrong because there's also that timer on top of it, and they all go up to 12. At least these 2 guys do. But a better way to track health would be nice. But just simply right here. So a lot of the game was about skill checks and using these various attributes, and everybody basically only had one. The captain had 1 of everything, and that was it. In order to even get to 2, you had to apply skill cards to these people, and it just really was a slog to get to the point where you felt confident doing skill checks. But seeing that these guys have already doubled up, I think is a really nice touch. Looks like we've got some whiskey, a bowl of something, some steak. I don't know what those are. Also, you're going to see that there is less characters in this one, which means if you're playing solo, it's less characters you have to keep up with, which is a really nice touch as well. So I'm thinking that these guys are what would come in the retail edition. Discovered locations, okay. So if you get the retail edition, you're just going to have standees for moving around as opposed to the miniatures. I don't know what you would use for the plane. I don't know what the retail edition of the plane is going to be. Oh, maybe it's this right here on a standee. And then you've got the pterodactyl. And I'm assuming these are fatigue tokens, maybe? Actually, I don't know. Yeah, because the other ones all have 3, 3, 3, 3. They can all take 3 fatigue, I guess. Here's your little plane combat board. So yeah, very excited about that. Let's just make sure, yeah, there's no secrets hiding under there. Ryan Lockett has done it before. All right, so let's get some of this out of the way and take a look at, no, not that, because that's a secret. I guess just these 2. I'm not going to show off, I'll show off this guy, because he's on top, and he's just a level 2. Number 73. So we'll use him as an example. Alright, so no combat cards. Those are probably going to be adventure cards that are in that secret deck that we will unlock. They're going to look like weapons and things like that. But I will go ahead and show off some of these. So these are oddly mixed up, and I don't know if that's on purpose, so I'm going to try and keep them together. These are the fate cards, and then there's these enemy buff cards sprinkled in. But you can see here is, for example, an enemy buff card. Claire loses 2 health, then redraw Curse 2. Hulking, plus 2 health per enemy. Devious, plus 1 per enemy. Character gains weakened. So those are going to be popping up to mess with you. But here you can see the these cards, which you'll be drawing for this number up in the corner. Obviously 6 is better because you're going to add this to the number of symbols of that specific skill you are checking. So if I'm checking crafting here and I have, say, 3 of these and then I draw 6, my total is 9 for that skill check. And obviously there's a benchmark to get to. What's, right off the bat, a great rule change from Sleeping Gods was that once you attach one of these to one of your characters, it is locked in. You don't lose it at the intermissions like you did in Sleeping Gods. And so you can really build out your characters exactly how you want them and not worry about having to redo it a third of the way through each game. So, none of these have command on them, which is nice. But then there's this. Travel 1, no time cost. Obviously that's some sort of resource that we're going to have to be spending. So +1 with a slash, self, like this. Oh, and there's 7s now. 6 used to be the highest. Now obviously it's 7s. 4 cards, I'm assuming. I don't know quite what we're spending here, unless it's these cards. Cards in hand. So wild. Ooh, that would be nice if the wild stat is truly wild. Ooh, I like that too, and can be used for anything. Anyways, so yeah, apologies, not much to show here, but this is a narrative-driven kind of open world Atlas game. So there's a lot of stuff hidden behind secret boxes, cards, secret books, and things like that. But very excited to dig into this one, hoping that if anything, if it just tweaks just the combat and the use of command or lack of command needed, and locking these in for the entire campaign, that enough will be worth it and make this game amazing. So keep an eye out we will begin this campaign on the channel very soon. I did an entire campaign playthrough of Sleeping Gods on the channel because I was so excited about it. It will be filled with spoilers, but if that's something you are interested in seeing, stay tuned. It will be coming once I get through the rulebook and everything else. Otherwise, if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below, and yeah, subscribe. Have a nice day.